perspective, just keep in mind this whole idea of a colluding oligopoly. This is really all about firms that are operating together in an effort to try to get the highest payoff, right, in a game theory format. So if you had, like, say, 2 players or 3 players, and there was a way in which they could kind of optimize their total revenue, even if it's not the equilibrium that they're likely to see, there may be advantages to colluding. It is, of course, very illegal, and we know that this happens, outright in some cases, in which it's the job of the antitrust players to bust up this type of collusion. There's also tacit collusion. So this might happen with, certain agreements that are informal. We know historical examples, too, of colluding oligopolies. So think of Rockefeller Standard Oil as an example. He created a kind of dominant firm and essentially bought out competitors. He also sabotaged, in some cases, some competitors. But his big tool was to create a trust so that ultimately all of these competitors kind of came together under one umbrella that was generally under his control. And so that very nature of a trust is essentially, a collusive agreement, okay? And what made Rockefeller's, entire operation, a quote-unquote monopoly, and antitrust, was all about busting up his monopoly, was essentially because he created, a collusive agreement for a great number of firms. And that was what was so problematic. So in this case, we have one firm of a group of 3, right? And this data set that we're looking at, that we had to create, right, ultimately represents one firm. So, what do we have here? We have output, which is the quantity. Whenever we're graphing an oligopoly like this that's colluding, this is one firm that's part of a larger oligopoly. We might have a firm that has a price that's here, and might have a quantity. I'm sorry, I'm not drawing this really well. A quantity that's here, the output is being represented in the quantity. Okay, so we have this chart. We don't necessarily know the best quantity for this firm to produce at unless we can figure out, profit maximizing quantity. We're also given information about total cost, right? And we're given price. And we're also giving quantity demanded. So we can work through to try to figure out the marginal cost. Marginal cost, remember, is the change in total cost over the change in quantity, okay? And the marginal revenue, likewise, is the change in marginal revenue over the change in quantity, okay? So once we have the marginal cost and the marginal revenue data, these two will be really significant because that's how we're going to figure out our profit maximizing quantity for this firm, okay? We're also going to be adding to this one firm, in order to figure out the industry, the other 2 firms, okay? So we have 2 other firms that are also involved in charging this exact same price, but are producing, equivalent quantities to this firm. It's almost like a mirror image of 3 firms that together combine to create the quantity of one collusive, oligopoly. So for this one firm, we're looking at the data for this one firm. We've got marginal cost and marginal revenue. Should we produce the first one? Yes, marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost. Should we produce the second one? Yes, marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost. We'll keep on producing until we get to the 5th unit. At the 5th unit, we have the marginal cost is 300, the marginal revenue is 300. So we're at our profit maximizing quantity, where MR equals MC. We know at this profit maximizing quantity of 5, so one firm in this collusive operation, I could take out that Q and plug in 5 here, will be producing 5 units. And remember that each one of these is a mirror image of this one firm. So if this firm is producing 5 units, this firm is also producing 5 units, this firm is producing 5 units, and they're all charging exactly the same price, okay? So each firm is producing 5 units, and each of the 5 units is being sold for a price of $540, okay? Once I know quantity and price, I can figure out the total revenue for this firm. I can multiply 540, the price, times the quantity of goods. If this was 5 yo-yos and each one was sold for $540, then I know that that's my total revenue. From that, I can subtract my total costs, okay? My total costs will essentially be right here of 1020, okay? So if I were to scroll down here, I'm going to turn off that and kind of go down here. Let's see if I can do that. If I go down here, you can see that if the price is $540, the output is 5. Okay, so we'll note that. We're also going to note that if we look at the total revenue minus total cost, okay, 540 times 5 minus 1020, this should be the profit for each firm in this collusive oligopoly. Okay, if we look at the situation of the industry, what's going to happen in the industry? Well, the price is the same because they're agreeing on that. Every single one of the firms will charge a fixed price of $540. The output for the industry, however, is not the same as the one firm. It's going to be multiplied times 3. Instead of 5 units, it's going to be 15 units, and the profit is going to be very similar. You're going to take each firm's profit of 1680 and you're going to multiply it times 3, right? In that case, the industry profit will be $5,040. Okay, I hope this was helpful, guys. Have a really good day, and I'll put the other second problem up for you to check out.